but you can still have spirituality. Right? The key is that you still have that. But no religious spirituality is a little bit not as powerful. Not as powerful because you don't have this faith element. Because the God factor is very powerful. A recent study by a Chicago professor found the most successful people in different fields. It's not intelligence make you successful. It's not EQ make you successful. It's hard work. And follow you a mentor, good mentor, Shifu, mentor. And also the God factor. They believe that God can carry you through. This faith thing, we talk about it up. Right? So even though you can still ask a big question, you can still believe. Your belief basically is your way to map reality, to map the world. So everybody has set assumptions about what people are like, what the world is like. So even if you are a non-believer, so you won't have a materialistic, naturalistic assumption. You say, oh, people are just animals, when we die will perish, right? I mean, that's what we can do, right? But they will have a hard time to make sense of suffering and mortality. And my friend, Yalom, he's a big name in existential. So he had a problem. He admired my faith, but he could not accept that because he trained in science, right? He had a hard time to accept God. So if you don't believe in God, you will have difficulty making sense of suffering and mortality. Because you can't accept the idea that when you die, all your creativity, all your energy, all your vision, all your feeling disappear in 1 second. It's hard to accept that, right? But you believe in soul, that your being will continue, right? Even you just change a different mode of existence. And also they try to answer the big question by creating myths. Different myths, like Greek mythology, every culture mythology. They try to create myths to understand the mystical and material, the mysterious part of the world, of life. Because there are many things in life cannot be understood scientifically or rationally. So they don't believe in God, so they create myths. So everybody has personal myth. And everybody has personal myth. Right? Now, I say 5 universal spiritual needs. The first one is faith. You all have to believe in something to worship, to believe. The second thing is sacredness. That people, in every culture, they also have something considered sacred. In India, the sacred cow. Right? In every country, people want to carve out something as, oh, these are different. They also need for soul something bigger themselves. There's a meaning making. There's also the conscience. These are 5 basic spiritual needs. You need to know right and from wrong. You want to teach your children right and wrong, right? So these are, regardless of religion, the only thing that separate theistic spirituality versus naturalist spirituality is faith. Okay, so next slide show you faith is a powerful thing. Okay, even if you don't believe in God, you still operate by faith. Placebo effect is what? A bit of faith, right? Placebo effect, placebo effect. Placebo effect, do you know that? Means if I give you a medicine based on sugar and nothing, oh, this medicine can really help you. You take it, oh, I feel much better. It's not because of the ingredient, but because you believe also, right? What the opposite of placebo? Nocebo. Nocebo is also powerful. You believe it can harm you. Actually, it will harm you more than the suffering itself. So anxiety disorder is based on nocebo effect. You think that become really bad, you're really happy. Actually nothing. Oh, this person is dangerous, he'll harm me. But if my mindset is that everybody is dangerous, right? Nocebo effect, right? Can harm you. Placebo can help you, right? So faith is very important, and faith is the most important facet of spirituality. And you also answer a big existential question: why are we here? What are we here for? How do we fit in? Sooner or later you ask those questions. But spirituality, faith, help you to find answers more easily than without faith. That's how we live, how we die. If faith gives a hope, faith frees us from worry and concern. Now, so as you remember, I said, spirituality is a really spiritual person is at peace. When I'm able to at peace, God will take care of me. I don't worry, God will take care of me. What is use for me to worry about this worry that? What use? That doesn't add one use to me. Doesn't add anything. If I believe God will take care of me, that free me from worries. You see how powerful it is? You really believe in God, and that's you have peace. My peace I give unto you. Not the world's peace, but my peace. A peace of faith of the grace, redemption, and wholeness. So everybody can do